I was picking up on some anti-keto vibes in this movie. Is that like a personal attack or something? That was a crappy attempt to channel Brie Larson, but I couldn't resist. It was something that I know was just a throwaway line in this movie. I just zeroed in on that. It was funny. Ryan Gosling's character at one point is telling somebody, "You need carbs, man. Your brain needs carbs or glucose or something like that." Like in other words, you need to eat more carbs. And no, yeah, your brain and certain parts of your body require some glucose to work, but you don't need to eat glucose. Your body can produce it on its own. Anyway, okay, whatever. I digress. Let me get back to the point of this entire video, which is The Fall Guy. This movie, you guys, I'm gonna start right off by saying it is a ton of fun. I enjoyed almost everything about it. There were just little teeny tiny things, like maybe only 2 things, and it was, in the grand scheme of the whole story of the whole movie, it was nothing. This film is a love letter to filmmaking, but primarily a love letter to stuntmen. And I'm gonna say it again, they need to be rewarded at the Oscars. You're gonna have these big glitzy glammy award show, then doggone it, you really do need to honor the people who make it happen, because if it weren't for the stuntmen, many, if not most of the films that people get such praise for wouldn't even be a thing. So anyway, whatever, that's me getting off my soapbox. This film is based on a TV series from the 80s. I think it ran from 81 to 86 or something like that. The Fall Guy, starring Lee Majors and Heather Thomas. So there are some callback references to that. I'm pretty sure there's some like little Easter eggy things that are woven in there. Now, I didn't really watch The Fall Guy, but I was exposed to it a little bit here and there. Like maybe if I was at a family member's house, I'd see an episode or part of an episode or something. So I was aware of it for sure. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt played the main characters, same characters or same names as the characters in the TV show. Now, in the TV show, Lee Majors he was a stuntman, and on his time off, he would be a bounty hunter. The character of Heather Thomas, who was Jodie, I can't remember her character's name now, same character Emily Blunt plays. I don't recall if she was just like someone who helped him on these cases or if she really was a movie director, because in this movie, Emily's character, Jodie, is a movie director. So you've probably seen the trailers. The synopsis is he is working on a film. He's got a thing going on with the director, and he's supposed to try to hunt down the main star, the guy that he's doubling for. There is a whole sort of plot thing going on with this. So kind of a little bit of a mystery-ish thing that's happening, and he's trying to figure out what's up. He gets caught up in all this stuff. Mayhem ensues. A whole bunch of stunts happen, and it's just a jolly good time at the movies. I want to see it again. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much in depth with regard to plot and stuff like that, but Emily Blunt, Ryan Gosling, they do a great job in here. Everybody is great in here. Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing the actor who that Ryan Gosling is the stunt guy for. Winston Duke is in here. I thought I even saw the director make a cameo, but I don't know, I might be wrong. There are a couple of other cameos in here. Stick around for some stuff after the credits. The credits at the very end, during the main credits, it's showing behind the scenes stuff. So if you really like watching things like that, stick around for that. I mean, this entire movie is kind of like a behind the scenes thing because it's a movie that's about a movie being made. So you get a sense for the chaos that goes on in a movie set, especially chaos surrounding a movie set that's an action film, because there's all these stunts going off and you have all this coordination and the people and the costumes and this and that and this and that. It's really cool. I like behind the scenes stuff. If I were ever to work in the movie industry, it will never happen, but if I had my choice, I would much prefer to do something behind the scenes to help this creative project be put together. I just find that fascinating. I love watching the end product, but I also really dig seeing how it comes together. It's one of the main reasons why I love listening to audio commentaries on DVDs and stuff is because it was just, you pick up this cool trivia and how things went when the film was being made and all this. And anyway, this sort of film was a lot of fun for me because I liked watching that aspect of filmmaking. And so in the end credits, they show behind the scenes as they filmed the movie. And then a little bit after that, there is another little small scene that has these cameos and kind of a little bit of a wrap up on what goes on with a couple of the characters in the story. The film clocks in at about 2 hours and 7 minutes. Honestly, I didn't feel like that was too long because there was quite a bit of story to tell. There was a lot going on as far as this mystery that he was involved in, but also there was the whole love story between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt's character. And so that, you got that time spent sort of showing their backstory with each other, what happened along the way, and then they come back together to work on this film, and then this whole, stuff is going on. And I thought it was put together really well. I like the comedic timing. I like the dialogue. I thought the acting was really good. This is primarily an action comedy type of film, so lots of action, but also lots of comedy, not necessarily slapsticky comedy. So it wasn't really goofy stuff or anything like that. And I just thought it was balanced out, handled really well. Aaron Taylor Johnson, when it's showing his character film scenes for this movie that's being made within this movie, it's funny because he's talking, and the more he talked, the more he talked in these scenes that were being filmed, the more I became convinced that he was trying to channel Matthew McConaughey. I swear to goodness, I know I could hear it. That funny little thing that Matthew McConaughey does when he says S's. He has this, you'll know it when you hear it, I swear. And he almost looked like him too, the way he was dressed up. Anyway, it was kind of funny. Some other things that I liked about this was the cinematography in general. There were just these neat little shots. And one was just a very simple example, but I wrote it down. It was a cool shot. It was showing Ryan Gosling's character, I think also maybe Emily Blunt's character. They might have both been wearing sunglasses, and the camera was focused on him, at one point focused on her, but you could see reflections in their sunglasses. And then when it was focused on her, you could see a reflection in her sunglasses, what his character was doing, like, because I think at that point he was getting ready to go off to film some shots. You could see it. I just thought that was neat. The opening script, I'm distracted by my dog. Chibi, the opening credits. The opening credits were cool. It was done almost like a screenplay. It was showing like bits from a screenplay, and then it would zero in on or highlight the names, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt. It was neat. I like that. Cool touch. Especially because that's what this whole film is about. It's about movie making. Like I said, it's a love letter to movie making, a love letter to stunt performers. So that was just a neat little touch. There were just a couple of cons. It's nothing major at all. Maybe upon a rewatch, I'll spot more cons, but honestly, I was just having too much fun. There were just some things that I wrote down. Probably actually three things I wrote down. Well, there were four. One of them was, there was a loud audience member, I swear to goodness. Well, more than one. There were two ladies over here off to my right, hooting and hollering and howling with laughter at the smallest thing. Now, some of their audience would laugh when something pretty overtly funny happened, but you'd think these women had never seen anything remotely funny in their whole life. That got a little bit annoying. Okay, rant over. The three things I wrote down that just kind of stood out at me is, that doesn't quite make sense here. I'm wondering if there's something off with the editing. One of those was, there's a character. This character has snuck into a location. They spend a bit of time in that location on the phone making noise, so anybody who's in the location would be bound to hear them. Then in the next shot, after the phone conversation is over, this character is sneaking around, acting like they're trying not to be heard with a coffee cup in hand. And I was thinking, why are you sneaking around at this point? You've made enough noise in this place. I don't know, that whole thing. Well, part of it might have been what was going on with the character. And I think you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But I feel like that particular moment, that particular transition between those two events, there was a little something missing in editing. It just kind of jumped out at me. Another thing, there's a character who is feeling for the pulse on another person, but when they're feeling for the pulse, they have gloves on their hands, and not medical gloves, like thick gloves, like thick gloves, work gloves or whatever. There's no way they would be able to feel a pulse through those gloves. That stood out at me. I'm telling you, these things are minor. Then the other thing that stood out to me is, I don't know about that. The character of Ryan Gosling has a Miami Vice coat on and he references some work he did in Miami Vice. And he wasn't talking about the movie. At first I thought maybe he was talking about the movie because, there was a movie in the double O's. So that would make sense, right? But he was referring to the TV show specifically. That didn't line up at all. Now, I'm not sure if in the show, The Fall Guy, if Miami Vice is referenced because Lee Major's character is a stuntman. So maybe they're just trying to do this cool little callback to that, but the math doesn't line up, you guys. It would have been better off if they had just referenced it was work he had done on the movie. That's honestly all I have. That's all the complaints I have about this film. I'm telling you, it's nothing. If you like action films, if you like action comedy, I highly recommend going to watch this. It is a lot of fun. It is pretty solidly written. The action's cool. The acting is really good. And it's just an enjoyable experience. And I look forward to watching it again. Probably Arturo is going to want to go see this. He has a thing for Emily Blunt. I don't blame him. She's adorable. So I will very, very likely be watching this again in the near future. And I think that's all I have to say about The Fall Guy. If you guys check it out, let me know what your experience was. I'm curious to find out if you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, or if you're like, no, I wasn't crazy about it, but I thought it was pretty solid. So I'm glad it was a fun experience. And I just wanted to let you guys know how fun it was. That's it for this one, you guys. Nos vemos.